Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The Sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shadebeast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance. Featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers, posters from the Shadebeast Presents concert series. Unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shadebeast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth. Thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge. I am Mark Jackson and I am your host. The premise of the show is pretty simple. Awesome interviews and awesome music. If you want to contact me, hit me up at metalforgeradio@gmail.com or visit the website metalforgeradio.com. And now, let's get this show on the road. What's going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Metal Forge. And you know what time it is. Yeah, it's time for this new episode. And this week, I have Jeff Black from the band Gatekeeper from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And we are going to be kicking ass and talking with him in just a minute. But before we get into it, how are you all doing this week? I am doing fairly well. Went and had a rad-ass time in Nashville last Saturday night with my friend Jessica and her friend JB, and we stopped in a few bars. The Red Door, we went to the local, and we ended up going to Springwater. And anybody who has been to the Springwater knows that it is the oldest bar in Tennessee. Super cool fucking place. I love that little ass bar. You know, it's just like, I wouldn't call it a dive or anything like that. It's just this old, it's just a little bar, man, and I love that place. It's a total cool deal. I got to go there back for the first time back in October, when I got to hang out with Graham from Seven Sisters when he was here on holiday. And it's just such a rad place, man. I can't wait to go back, you know, because Nashville is pretty fun. Even though, you know, metal and all of that is, yeah, you do have some metal bars and all of that stuff down there, like the End and just, you know, all of these other places. But, like, you know, even with the regular bars, it's still pretty cool. It's still a good vibe, I think, and you can have a lot of fun. So, aside from all that, wow, man, like, super busy last weekend. We had 2 interviews on Friday, 2 interviews on Saturday, and then with the impromptu trip to Nashville, I didn't do my Sundays, so we're going to be rescheduling those for sure. But yeah, it's been really fucking kicking over here. We've got a lot of kick-ass episodes coming out here in the next couple of months, and you know, it's almost like the plane's leaving the runway right now. You're just lifted off for the year, and we are going to the fucking stratosphere this week and this year with the Metal Forge. Bigger, better, awesome guests, fucking more kick-ass times, you know, more metal mischiefs, more heavy metal wastelands, more album reviews, more show reviews, more, fuck yes. A couple of live showcase shows here in Louisville, Kentucky. We've got a show in April, we have one in July, and we have one in October. We're going to be kicking ass with everybody coming in. I know Jason's band, Temptations Wings, will be coming in for the April Metal Forge Showcase, along with a few others. On the Metal Forge Showcase for July, it's a special event. It's a punk rock matinee show at the Mag Bar, and that has some awesome fucking bands on there, like Eviler Knieveler, and Ramathorn, and Creeps Inc., and a couple others on there. So it's going to be fucking awesome. And, you know, we're always out to help promote everybody. So if you have show listings or anything like that, shoot us a message. You know, metalforgeradio@gmail.com. Let's get that shit going. Let's get that party started where we can start putting out the info for your shows, whether you're in Louisville or not. You know, if you want to sit there and want to shout out to say, hey, Friday the 3rd of March, go to such and such and see so-and-so. Because if you're in that area, it's going to be a kick-ass fucking show. We'll do it. You know, just get them out to me with, you know, a couple of weeks in advance, and I'll plug that shit for you. Because this is what it's all about. It's all about the kick-ass times. It's all about, you know, help promoting each other, which is what I've often tried to do, which is why Jason and I came up with Flamekeeper, was to help promote each other's podcasts and deliver more bang for your buck on everything. And, you know, not only that, but you also get Athena's Thrashers and Destroyers on there, not with the Flamekeeper, but the promotion as well. You get the Thrashers and Destroyers, you know, the Metal Mischief, the Heavy Metal Wasteland, the Metal Forge, the Ale Horn, the Mud Horn, all of that awesome fucking stuff. The Unsleeved series, you know, which I've done 2 episodes of. I need to do another one. So what do I need to do it about? What's this week's what's the new episode of the Metal Forge Unsleeved going to be that you can actually get direct on the Flamekeeper Patreon, which is patreon.com/Flamekeeper. But you also get it, you know, like 3 or 4 days after everybody else does on YouTube. So I've done patches, and I've done the room tour, the Metal Forge tour, right? So do we do a tattoo tour next? Because I got quite a bit of them. Do we do a battle jacket tour? Do we do a gear tour for Overload and stuff like that? Just, shoot me a message. Let me know what's up. Comment, and do all that stuff. So, fuck yeah, I'm feeling good. This is kicking ass. I'm having a great fucking time this week. Fucking yes. Just yes. All the fucking time. Thank you to all the sponsors out there. You hear the commercials on the show. Thank you all so much for sticking with the Metal Forge, keeping everything going, kicking ass with us, not backing down from anything. Shit, yes. Thank you to all of you for listening each and every single week. You all have totally made my metal dream come true here, where I get to talk about just all kinds of shit. And just goofy shit, fun shit, serious shit. You all make that come true, and I absolutely love doing it. So, hell yeah. Let's go ahead and get into this week's episode with Gatekeeper. This is from their newest album, From Western Shores. This is Exiled King.
set over the sounds of your death, blood-soaking ground, claimed by its rightful lord. Your wives, your sons, and your daughters put to the sword.
All right, metalheads, maniacs, crazy motherfuckers out there. I have Mr. Jeff Black from the band Gatekeeper here in the Metal Forge. Jeff, how are you?
Hello. I'm not bad, Mark. It's great to talk with you, man. I'm just finished up a day of work here, and I'm about to kick back and enjoy my weekend.
Hell yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys are from Canada.
That's right.
Whereabouts in Canada? Because I'm looking on the Metal Archives and it's like, well, there's Edmonton, there's Vancouver. It's like,
that's
where
right.
are you all?
So we're based out of Vancouver. That's where I live right now. I'm in the city of Vancouver, and then the rest of the guys in the band are kind of in some of the various like suburbs around the city. And then our current singer, Tyler, he lives in a town called Armstrong, which is a bit of a hike away. It's like 4 or 5 hours drive, and sort of out in an area called the Okanagan Valley. So I'm on the west coast, and then he's inland about 4 or 5 hours.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm going to go out before we even get started in the real interview here is the scene up there in the Pacific Northwest is absolutely amazing.
It feels that way for sure. Yeah. It's a bit surreal when you think about some of like the really awesome bands that have come out of this area. And you think like, oh yeah, like I'm playing on the same stages that like 3 Inches of Blood got started playing on, or like I'm playing in the same rehearsal rooms that Unleash the Archers rehearses in, and stuff like that. Like it's pretty awesome.
Definitely. And I'm not even going that far. I'm just saying with bands like Solicitor, Spell, Soulgrinder, Bewitcher, two others, Time Rift, you guys, it's like, shit. They're, I don't know what's in the water up there, but keep fucking drinking it.
Sure, yeah. You don't need to tell me. No, that is true. There are some pretty phenomenal bands in this area. All the bands that you mentioned are bands that I like, and we've shared the stage with, and become pretty close with. So it's an honor to be a part of like such a community of awesome musicians and great people too.
Definitely. So I always have to ask because I'm based in what's called the Ohio Valley. And which is, I am just inside of Indiana, about a mile from Louisville, Kentucky. If you're familiar with the I can
picture the area on the map a little bit. Yeah,
definitely. We're on the same parallel, same what is that latitude line as San Francisco, but we have completely fucked up weather. Which is where I'm going with this. How is the weather in Vancouver going around this time of year?
So this is kind of like the rainy season, I guess. It's monsoon season. So we don't in terms of Canada, we get the least amount of snow in the whole country, which is why people like to live here a lot of the time. So it's today is actually nice and clear and sunny, but up until today, it's been pissing rain for the past week.
Yeah, which is always crazy because I've got friends in LA and it's been doing the same thing down there even. And we've been getting their weather, 3 or 4 days later, and it's been torrential downpour, real shitty weather down there too. So
yeah, totally.
I totally.
Which is even kind of rare for LA. LA doesn't normally get as much rain. We're sort of in rainforest country up here.
Right, right. And I mean, that's going to be one of my destination places to go is, Vancouver and the Pacific Northwest like that. I've been to Southern California, but never anything past that. I've never been an hour and a half or so north of LA is the farthest north that way I've been.
Oh, okay.
On that side.
Yeah, man, it's pretty nice out here. And if you want to get a similar kind of experience to Vancouver, I mean, Seattle is not that different from Vancouver in a lot of ways. It's just one less border crossing to go through.
Definitely, yeah. As I've heard that, but I want to get the whole experience, for sure. So tell everybody about Gatekeeper.
Yeah. So Gatekeeper, we're like a classic heavy metal band. Sometimes we use the tag epic metal or epic heavy metal, which basically just means that we're basically we're themed around traditional sword and sorcery novels, very Conan the Barbarian themed and Tolkien and that kind of stuff. So it's classic heavy metal, but less on sort of the motorcycle and alcohol type themes that you might hear in some bands, and focusing more on the fantasy and literature side of things. We started in Edmonton, so that's why you saw us in Edmonton on Metal Archives. That's where the band was formed. And I kind of started that band as a way for me to kind of teach myself how to play guitar, just learning how to play riffs by some of my favorite bands, writing my own riffs. And then as time went on, I gradually morphed into a real band, and we became more active when I moved out to the West Coast. I got a whole new lineup, and we started touring. We got signed to Cruz del Sur Music and put out an album and an EP. We've been to Europe a couple times now. We've been to the States a number of times as well. And it's just kind of blossomed out from there. And now it's the time for the second record to come out.
Right on. And it says this, like you just said, was started as a solo project in 2009-ish. And
around there.
What's that?
I would say, around then. Yeah.
Okay. So has it been the same lineup ever since, or have y'all had quite a few different lineup changes? How does that?
Quite a few lineup changes. I've been the only consistent member throughout the entire thing. When I lived in Edmonton, so Edmonton's really far from Vancouver. Edmonton, if I wanted to drive to Edmonton, it would take me about 15 hours. So those guys are all still in Edmonton or around. They're doing their own thing. But since I've moved to Vancouver, which was in 2014, I restarted the band in 2015, and a couple of those guys have been in the band ever since that. So our bass player, David, he was like the first guy I talked to when I started the band up in Vancouver, and our drummer, Tommy, as well. So the three of us have been going strong since 2015. And our singer, Tyler, he's pretty new. He joined the band last year. And Adam, our guitar player, he joined the band in 2019.
Awesome. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely get the thing of, you moving and it being a long distance away. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to, even 7, 8, 9 years ago, I think it was a lot harder for bands to do the long distance band thing on an independent level.
Sure.
Not like today where here it is, we're on Zoom and recording through an audio interface to to computers. The technology has came a long way since then.
It's actually crazy because even like in the past 3 or 4 years, basically since the pandemic kicked in, like I found myself in a bunch of those long distance projects, long distance collaborations and stuff. So it's actually like completely bonkers what you can pull off in this day and age.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's where I've kind of disbanded using, no pun intended, using the term local on things because of that reason. Because if you have a member in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and one in Cardiff, and you have, you in Vancouver, where exactly are you local to? You're not. You're stretched all over the world, and the way things are now is, hey, you can all fly to a central location, practice, and then go on tour for however long you need to.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, and a lot of bands operate that way too. Like a lot of bands will just literally get together like the week before tour, like rent a rehearsal room and just like knock it out, and then they're just roommates, for a month or whatever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know I have several friends who do that are not, that their guitar player might live in Louisiana and they live here, and that's totally cool because of the way the dynamic has changed. It almost feels more, like it was back in the day with, in like the 60s and 70s, I think, where you had people after they had achieved some bit of stardom or whatever, and they all went their separate ways, and, John lives in fucking Memphis now,
Right. I see.
All right, we got to get this going back together. How do we do it, guys? Stuff like that, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, it's cool that like geography is no longer an obstacle in the way that it once was. I mean, there's a lot to be said about that, and it's enabled me personally to like have connections with awesome musicians that I would know normally under like normal circumstances I would have never even learned their names.
Oh,
so it's changed the game.
Definitely. So, as you said, you all put out the first full length back in 2018, right?
That's right, yeah.
And what we're here to talk about is from Western Shores, the new album.
Yes, that's right.
So, before we get into that, was obviously the pandemic plays a part in this. Because it's 4 years difference. Was it intended to be that way? Did you want to have it out beforehand and the pandemic completely wrecked it? Or
the pandemic definitely fucked us. Put it lightly. Yeah, it definitely messed stuff up. I mean, we certainly didn't want it to be this long. Things in Gatekeeper tend to go a little bit longer than they should, I find, but things happen. During the pandemic, we lost our previous singer, Jean-Pierre, who sings for another really cool band called Traveler. During that time frame, like we were working on From Western Shores, we had pretty much all the songs demoed out. We knew what the songs were going to sound like, and we were workshopping like the final touches and the vocals and the lyrics. And then he decided that he wanted to step away from the band. It just wasn't doing it for him anymore. So he stepped away. We spent about probably 6 or 8 months tracking down a new vocalist and found Tyler. And then, of course, we had to go in and record everything. And that whole process took about a year, just because, again, it was during the pandemic. So we did the drums 1 week, and then, we would have to split up the rest of the recording sessions basically at my home studio. And that, we had to do that piecemeal over the next 6 months while people were, available and not sick and stuff like that. And so the whole process took way longer than it should have. But it's happening. And to be honest, in some way, it's kind of like fate in a lot of ways, because I think that the stuff that we had to go through has actually resulted in a better record than we would have had if everything had gone a little more smoothly. We had to make some serious changes we had to make a serious change within the band, which forced us to sort of approach the songs with a different mindset. And I think it actually came out sounding like a much better album. So I'm happy about it, even though it took a lot longer than we wanted it to.
Absolutely. So here's a good one for me. Because there's always the rumor of, and I equate this to what you had said to like Back in Black, is the rumor that the album was done when Bon had passed. He just didn't put vocals down. So Was that a thing for you guys too? Did you have everything written? And if so, when you got the new vocalist, did he have to go in and like rewrite lyrics or?
Yeah. Basically, yeah. Like we had all the music was written, and we even had we actually had the drums recorded right around the time that our singer left, and we were doing like demos of his vocal parts with him, and we were going back and forth, and I think it was just not like he wasn't stoked on it, and we weren't super stoked on it either, and so we eventually he decided to take a step back, and he said he just didn't want to do it anymore. And when we brought Tyler in, we just started completely from scratch with the vocals. We said, you know what, let's not touch what we worked on with JP before. That was his chapter. Let's do something completely fresh, completely different. And that's what we got with Tyler. He came in and he wrote pretty much all of his own vocal lines, minus a couple things here and there. Wrote almost all of his own lyrics, with a little bit of direction from us. And so when he came in, we basically started completely from scratch on the vocal side of things. Music was pretty much all there, but even then, like once he kind of stepped into the role, we had to, things shifted a little bit. Like we kind of adjusted some of the little bells and whistles.
Definitely. See, that is amazing to sit there and to come in with music that's already been, kind of established at that point, and just say, okay, we've got to add this now. You've got to come in and you got to write all of this.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like a feather in Tyler's cap, because I mean, he had a tough job to do, because JP, our previous singer, I mean, he's a great singer and a super creative guy, very charismatic, and a lot of people like really like him and really like what he does. I mean, I do too. Like I'm still a fan of his, and so Tyler had a tough job to do, to come in and not only fill his shoes and sing his old songs that he wrote and help us develop and everything, but now he had to kind of be his own singer as well and be like the new face of the band. So he had a tough job to do, but he really rose to the occasion, and like I think he knocked that out of the park. I think it's great, and it's really suitable for the band's sound, and everyone seems to enjoy it. So I'm very happy with it.
Definitely. And see, that's one of my things as the artist in me, is just to be the same role in another band, because obviously he's vocals in Odin Fist as well.
That's right, yeah.
And to not, hit the same idea structure, even if it is a completely different band, like what the band writes about is, I guess, what I'm saying. What the thematic difference is to the band, and same thing with like being a guitar player in that sense. You know, playing guitar in your primary project, and then playing guitar in something else, and not intertwining the two or having something that sounds too similar, because that, you know, it's just wow.
for sure, yeah, because that's definitely a thing. I mean, it becomes this thing of like, why am I playing in the same band but they're just two different bands? You know, I could just do one of these and put more effort into it, right? But yeah, I mean, like in Tyler's case, for example, like with him, in his other band, Odin Fist, he can probably he would be able to speak to this better than I could. But you know, he also he sings and plays guitar in Odin Fist, and he does the lion's share of the songwriting in that one. So he's writing riffs and he's like structuring out and arranging the songs and everything. Whereas with this, the songs were there, and he just had to kind of like he had to basically dress them up and turn them into like something that someone would want to actually, you know, sit down and listen to or whatever. And who knows what the future will hold? I mean, maybe like in the door is open for him to contribute riffs and song ideas as well too. Because he's been doing that for a while. So, yeah, I mean, it's up to him how much he wants to be involved or like what level of creative asset he wants to bring to the table. You know,
absolutely. So I'm looking through the archives here, and obviously. It's interesting because they're allowing albums to be put on there prior to release now. So we've got a track listing for the new album from Western Shores, but it's not out yet, and it's not going to be out until when?
March 24th, which I believe is Friday, March 24th. So a couple months from now.
Hell yeah. So I'm looking at this, and I absolutely love artwork in music. You know, no matter if it's released digital, if it's CD, vinyl, cassette, whatever. I just love taking the artwork and looking at it.
Totally.
And this is like otherworld art. I'm just going to say, because I know it's Duncan Storr is the artist, and he's done a few things for you guys.
Yeah, he's great. He's almost like a sixth member of the band in a lot of ways.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, this will be our third piece our third like record that we've done with his artwork, and it's like at this point it's kind of hard to imagine working with anyone else. Like his style seems to have like become ingrained with our covers. That sometimes people just say that they like associate our covers with his artwork, or vice versa. You know.
Absolutely, and it's really interesting because he has a style that, you know, it is his own. That's the big thing.
Oh yeah,
but
big time.
But it's the sword and sorcery aspect of it. He doesn't always have that. So like if you take the Demon album covers that he has, he's got some very, you know, futuristic warfare type, you know, post-apocalyptic warfare covers with them. And what's interesting about it is he really seems to me like that whole cross purposes, maybe Forbidden, Tear era Black Sabbath, like the Tony Martin era stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And it's got this whole like TSR, like original brand D&D, like advanced
totally.
D&D, which I totally love.
Absolutely. Yeah, his style is very cool. Like it's very, no matter what he's drawing, I think it's very informed by the landscape that he lives in. So he lives near Newcastle, England, and he lives like kind of out in the countryside. And I think that a lot of it, if you look at his stuff, you can see all kind of little like Celtic squiggles and little bits and pieces that kind of like nature that he draws from his surroundings and things like that. And that's something that I've always really admired about his work. And he does all kinds of different work too. Like he does he works with like progressive rock bands and does weird spacey psychedelic stuff. He does more futuristic stuff. He does more traditional Frank Frazetta oriented like book cover kind of stuff. But he also does paintings and stained glass for like local churches and stuff as well. And he'll do like big like medieval style manuscripts. I mean, he is just like an illustrator, you know. He sends me like a Christmas card every year, and the Christmas card is like it is like a woodblock, like a woodblock painting.
Oh, wow.
that he's made by hand, and he does a shitload of them and mails them to all of his friends and family and stuff. Like, he's just like the artist's artist, you know. And that's but no matter what, you can always kind of get a feel for the fact that it's him drawing it, no matter what the subject is. And I think a lot of his style is informed by like the old English countryside and like the mythology that surrounds that part of the world.
Oh, definitely. And I see what you're saying as I'm going through his pages here on the Metal Archives, and it's so cool because there is a bit of Frazetta in there. There's a bit of like I see Mobius in there.
Totally.
And you know, and Mobius is like with the line work that he does, or did, I should say, where it's like super attention to detail, super thin lines, and it's just really cool. And you know, I see like Richard Corbin and you know, so many of these awesome illustrators over the years that have all been in heavy metal. You know, what the heavy metal magazine was all about.
Yeah, totally, dude. Totally.
Absolutely. And yeah, the Celtic knotwork and stuff. Like, I'm looking at a Skyclad album cover that he had done, and it's just amazingly beautiful.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's why we thought of him. We made a short list. Like, when we did that first record, East of Sun, we made a short list of people that we would want to do like album covers with, and we just said, you know what, let's just pretend that like money is no object, and like let's just make like a top 5 pie in the sky list of artists. And he was on it. It was him, and then you know, like Rodney Matthews was on it, and like Ken Kelly and stuff like that. And we contacted everyone. We said, well, you know, let's just do it. Let's just see what happens. And yeah, Duncan Storr got back to us like immediately. Like he wrote us back within like 10 hours, and just kind of we kind of talked about the project, and eventually we got to the cover of East of Sun, and it was just like, oh wow, we're just gonna talk to the guy who did all the Skyclad covers that we love, you know. And yeah, and we were talking like he did tour posters for Dio back in the 80s and stuff, you know. It's wild.
Wow, that is awesome. So awesome. March 24th is going to be a kick-ass day. You know, the new album from Western Shores coming out. Fucking right.
Yeah, man. I'm super excited. Like, not only is it the album release date, but we're also playing a show in Houston. We're playing at Hell's Heroes Festival. And so that festival, we're playing on Friday, March 24th. So that's going to be our album release date. And the festival lineup is completely stacked. It's like out of control. The amount of cool bands that we're playing with. So we'll be among friends. We'll be among bands that we love and admire. So I'm very excited for March 24th for a number of reasons.
Yeah, I actually was talking with a friend's band about it, and I was just like, hey, or well, you know, they're friends of mine, I should say. And I was like, hey, do you guys want to play in Louisville on the 25th? And he's like, we're going to be in Houston. I was like, fuck, you're right. Yeah. You're going to be on that show. I completely forgot.
That's right. Yeah.
And yeah, that whole Hell's Heroes is, wow. It's awesome. I was going to go last year, but my plane did not get in, and I would have missed most of the first day. And I was so mad.
Shit.
Because,
dude, that sucks.
Yeah, because I chose to fly Allegiant, and they only fly once a day, and they only fly on Fridays and Mondays. So,
oh, what a drag!
Yep, it was terrible. But let's not dwell on that. Let's go ahead and switch over here. We're going to ask some general profile questions about you as a person, and they're not even just general profile questions anymore. They could be about anything.
Okay.
All right. What band do you think should have a much larger following than they do?
Ooh, that's a fun question. Yeah, that's a good one. So there's a couple bands in town here that I like, and they're doing pretty well for themselves. But I always think that they should be a few notches up from where they are. I think Spell in Vancouver is like one of the coolest bands in the city, and they do all right. You know, they're becoming like adjacent to Metal Blade Records and things like that. And I would love for them to make that next step of like getting onto one of those larger labels and getting out there a bit more. And every record they do, they seem to come closer. So I hope that I hope to get there. And another band in town here that I really like, who I think should be more well known, is Iron Kingdom.
Oh, yes.
Iron Kingdom is very, very awesome, like traditional heavy metal band. Really great people. Some of the most incredible players in the city, and they're really awesome. They're super DIY though. They have like a very strong like DIY ethos, and so I don't know if you'll ever see them get picked up by a label that can get them some more like distribution or something. I would love for them to be able to get that for themselves, whether it's like independently or through a label. But they work really hard. They are touring constantly, and they're always putting out records and working on new stuff. So I would love to see them like on tour with bands like Striker or Night Demon and things like that.
Oh, hell yeah, absolutely. And both are friends of the Metal Forge. They've both been on here. Cam's been on a couple of times over the last few years, and Iron Kingdom's been on as well. And it was fun to do their Iron Kingdom's interview as well, because they were all four in there at the time.
Oh, great.
And
awesome.
It was just completely insane. A lot of
I could imagine. Those cats are a lot of fun. Chris and I are good friends, and so I'm often at their place like hanging out, and he'll have the whole band over, and me and Cam too. Actually, Cam's one of my closest friends, Cam from Spell.
Oh yeah, he's great.
They're super wonderful people. Like you get all those people in a room, and you're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be a great party.
Oh, for sure. What was the first band shirt you felt super cool about wearing to school?
Oh man, so this is funny. The first band shirt I ever bought, and the band shirt that like basically made me friends in grade 10 or grade 11 was Iced Earth. So and of course the Iced Earth obviously has a bit of a checkered situation going on right now. So I think people are embarrassed. A lot of people are embarrassed to be fans of Iced Earth. But I have to say they were a really big part of my metal journey as like a teenager. And I remember like at the mall in my hick town that I grew up in, they had like Iced Earth shirts, which kind of blew my mind because it was Iced Earth next to like My Chemical Romance and like The Used and stuff like that. So I bought that shirt because I was obviously a fan. And then like all of a sudden, all the metalheads at school would just like, it was like all of a sudden, like they just saw me and they just didn't know I existed before. And I just all of a sudden had this like friend of like metalheads, this group of metalhead friends who let me hang out with them. So
given the stuff that's happened with him, and it's so weird because he's in hiding or something now because
I guess so.
Yeah, it's just a whole crazy slew of stuff. But yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny to think back on it, but like in many ways, Iced Earth were in some ways responsible for me being where I am in some kind of bizarre, it's a bizarre twist of fate.
Definitely.
So I'm not gonna hide that.
Hell yeah, and I mean, that's the thing too, where it's just like separating the art from the artist, because there's a ton of Burzum fans out there.
Sure.
Not only that, but there's almost no such thing as guilty pleasures because people are allowed to like what they like.
Well, that's like what they like. I mean, it's funny because I don't even really listen to Iced Earth that much anymore. Like I feel like I've kind of moved on, I guess, but at that time, they're just like a super important band for me. They're the band that made me want to learn how to play guitar. So I don't think it does anyone any favors for me to just like for me to be dishonest about that, I guess.
Yeah, right. At a sparsely attended concert, why do you think people stand so far away from the stage?
That's a great question. It's one of those like weird like social like psychological social things where it's. I think it's because the room is sparsely attended, so the energy level is down. Even if the band are killing it and doing a great job, the energy level in the room isn't the same. And I do think that when you have like a live band playing and there's a lot of people and they're all having a really good time, there is that certain energy, and everyone wants to kind of match each other's energy, right? Everyone's feeling really good. When you have fewer people in the room, there's like a disconnect, I think, between those energy levels, right? It's hard. It's for a lot of people, I think it's a lot harder to get in the same zone that a live band is in when there's just not that many people to spread that around with, right? And there's also something to be said about people. There's a turn of phrase that is not coming to my mind, but people like to prop up people. People want to avoid the sinking ship, I guess, right?
Right.
so if things are going well, people want to be near that. People want to take part in that. And if things are going not so well, people try to avoid that, I guess. So definitely. I'm not sure if that's...
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's like if there's something out there, and we've all seen and probably all done at some point some cringe moments on stage kind of thing. And I know sure. I've definitely done some cringe shit, and I know a ton of other people who do, and you just sit there and being in the audience while somebody else is doing it, you're just like, what? And you're right. It's the thing of... It's the dispersed energy. Yeah. And there might even be something to the fact that like if you go up and you're just like rocking out by yourself and like really just enjoying yourself by yourself when they're like if you're like in front of a band by yourself and then you've got like 20 of your peers kind of hanging back in the shadows, it really puts you in front of the audience as well. It puts you in front of everyone else, and I could see people being like very nervous about that. Oh, for sure.
Not wanting to stand out in front of their peers in that way.
Oh, absolutely. Which is, back in the day, there was a meme where it was a band playing and there was one guy standing in front of him, and it said, "We'd like to thank Bobby for coming out tonight."
Yeah, classic.
And so you've seen that meme.
Oh yeah, totally.
That is a bar in my city.
That like the bar in that meme is in your city.
Yes.
Oh my God. What's the name of that bar?
3rd Street Dive.
Oh hell yeah. That fucking rules, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, that's sick.
But yeah, it's exactly that moment of what you were just saying. If the one person is up there rocking the fuck out and there's 20 people standing behind him, 12 feet away, it's that meme. And
yeah.
If a band were coming to your city, where would you tell them to eat?
Yeah. Okay. So we got some great food in town here. It might depend on where they're playing, but my go-to for people who are visiting Vancouver for the first time is to go to a neighborhood called Commercial Drive. Commercial Drive is sort of, I guess it's kind of like a hipster sort of a street, but it's not downtown. It's in a part of the town called East Van. It's like East Vancouver. And it's away from the downtown core with all the high rises and like really ritzy places, but it's got tons of record shops, tons of like cool like independent stores, and a shitload of restaurants and bars and pubs. And it's a great little strip to just go up and down. And there is some of the best sushi I've had. In some of the best sushi I've ever had is on Commercial Drive. And there's a really good Indian restaurant that I like a lot too. So I'd say go get sushi on the drive.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. I'm gonna jot that down really fast and make a note for when I actually get to make it up there.
Yeah, it's a cool spot too because it's not really touristy. Like it's an area that you know of if you've like been in Vancouver for a little bit. But it's if you're a tourist and you're visiting Vancouver for the first time, like it just you just wouldn't go there. Like no one would ever think to tell you to go there. So that's it's a cool little tucked in neighborhood that's popular but yet not touristy.
Definitely. How do you feel about loaning gear to other bands at shows?
I guess it kind of depends. If it's something like that we arrange in advance, I'm cool. Like if someone's like, hey, like we're flying in and our guitars didn't make it. If they message me in advance and we like figure it out, then I'm okay with it. Sharing cabs, I'm okay with. It's more like if like assholes just kind of show up to the show and they just decide they want to borrow your gear without talking to you up front. That kind of bugs me. I think it's a little inconsiderate. Obviously emergencies are one thing. Emergencies happen, but yeah, I don't know. Cabs I'm fine with. I'll share cabs. Yeah, I'll share my cabs. But if you want to use my guitar, give me some advance warning.
Yeah, for sure, because it's an extension of ourselves, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the most damageable thing that it's one of the more expensive parts of the rig, and it's one of the more fragile parts of the rig.
Yep. Oh, I get it. If you could only listen to music from one decade, what would you choose?
Right. Oh my God. I would get torn, I think, between 80s and 90s. I think like 80s is kind of a go-to because everyone loves like 80s metal and things like that, and there's some great 80s pop and stuff. But I don't know, man. Like there's some awesome records that like especially in heavy music that came out in the 90s. Like a lot of my favorite power metal records came out in the 90s, like Blind Guardian, Painkillers in the 90s. So it would be kind of a toss-up there. I might have to go 80s though, just because Thin Lizzy has some records in the 80s, and that'll get me some Thin Lizzy. It'll get me all the good Maiden. It'll get me a shitload of good Judas Priest. It'll get me Riot. So yeah, I'll go the easy route, and I'll say 80s.
And it'll give you the first 4 Metallica albums too.
It'll give me the first 4 Metallica albums. And that's important. That's a big deal. Yeah, so let's not fuck around. I won't get Rest in Peace, but it's okay. I'll get some other. I'll get the other shit. Yeah.
If you could have one current artist to guest on one of your songs, who would it be and why?
Current artist. So I've been really lucky because I've been doing some solo stuff where I've been having some guest collaborators jump on there. So a lot of my peers I've been able to work with, so if I had to pick like someone like Pie in the Sky to like sing on a track, it would either be Russell Allen from Symphony X to sing, or Hansi Kirsch from Blind Guardian to sing. One of those two guys.
Hell yeah. If you had to cover one album from start to finish, which album would it be?
Oh Jesus, man! Start to finish, that's a big call.
Yeah,
because no, that's true. No, okay, album top to bottom, start to finish. We're playing it. It's a tribute show. Okay, what are we playing? Just because I think it would be. Oh man, I don't know. This is actually harder. This might be the hardest one so far. I think actually, you know what? I think it would be fun, especially if we're doing it with Gatekeeper, if we did like a Battery album.
Ooh.
Like if we did like Hammerheart from top to bottom, that would be really cool. That would be something that would be like kind of off the wall and like a little wacky, but in a way it would kind of make sense. Like we're actually pretty influenced by Hammerheart and Twilight of the Gods and stuff. And also, it wouldn't be that hard. Those songs aren't super hard either, so it wouldn't feel like I was gonna like die from like having to learn like a million solos and stuff. So yeah, I would say like with Gatekeeper, we're doing a tribute show and we got to learn a whole album. I'm gonna go Hammerheart by Battery.
Right on.
Yeah,
I could get behind that, and because it's It's something that's completely different than what you do.
Yeah, it's funny. Like it's completely different, but we all love that album, and like in a lot of ways, there are some riffs on there that are kind of inspired by like just like how big and like vast and epic those songs are. Especially our early stuff. Our new stuff maybe not as much, but our early stuff had a bit more of that going on.
Definitely. What do you think is the worst movie of all time?
The worst movie of all time? Oh man. The worst movie of all time. Okay. See, I think the thing for me is that like I like bad movies. Like I'll watch movies that are awful and just laugh at them. So you got to think, okay, what's a movie that's bad, but it's not even funny bad? And that's tough because I tend to forget about those kinds of movies. I saw a movie not even that long ago. Okay, they did it. You know that series, The Kingsman?
Yeah.
Okay, I think they did one that maybe it's the second one, and I remember watching that like a year ago or 2 years ago, and really not enjoying that at all. I thought it was really stupid, especially compared to the first one. And then they did a third one after that. I thought was pretty good. But there's like this. I think it's the second Kingsman movie, and I can't remember the name.
It's
the
something
full title
like
of it.
Something in the Golden Service or something.
Maybe that's it. That might be it. That's probably that was probably one of the worst movies I've seen in a while. I don't know if it's the worst one, but it's the worst one that I can think of off the top of my head.
That's awesome. And yeah, they look, by the trailers, they look so promising. And then I know the one you're talking about because it came out like right either before or it was supposed to come out right as the pandemic started, and then the lockdowns were happening, and I think they waited a few months and then they put it out like, like on Amazon Prime or something like that. And I don't think it did well.
Okay, yeah. I'm not surprised, man. It was pretty rough because, like the first one was fun. The first one was really cool. And the second one was very like schlocky and dumb. Like it was like they kind of took the concept that they set up and they ran like way too far with it. Like they went it past the point of it being fun and like fun and goofy, and it went into like self-parody territory. That's kind of my impression of it, at least.
Definitely. Here's an interesting one. And I pull these at random, so this is why it's kind of shifting a little bit from music to just other stuff too. Would you rather spend the night in a haunted prison or a haunted mental institution?
Haunted prison or haunted mental institution. Now, are these abandoned? But they're abandoned, but they're haunted?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go prison. I'll go prison. I'm not entirely sure why. We're spending one night?
Yeah, spending one night.
Okay. Spending one night. I feel like I could go either way. I feel like I'm hardy enough to go either way, but if I had to choose one, I think I'll go prison.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, something about I don't know, horrors of the mind kind of thing, or just are otherworldly to me at that rate. So
yeah.
I don't think I could do that because I'm such an advocate for mental health for everybody. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I feel like I feel like the mental hospital. I feel like the ghosts in there would be a little scarier.
Oh yeah,
or more unpredictable, perhaps.
Definitely. Do you believe in Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or the Yeti?
That's a great question. I'm gonna say no, but I like that people do, and I like that there's. I like that the idea of Yeti, Sasquatch, and Bigfoot exists, and I will never talk down about it. But for my own personal beliefs, no.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, especially living in the Pacific Northwest, where there's so many, sightings up there and everything, and we get a lot of them down here as well around the Appalachian mountains and everything like that down in like southern Kentucky. Yeah. So
that makes okay. Yeah, I get that. It's funny. It's something that I've never really paid attention to, I guess. So it's like when I hear about Sasquatch or Bigfoot, I don't really hear about people having sightings of them. It's more like they just show up in movies or whatever. Right. And it's like, it's kind of, it's fun. It's a thing that it's like a urban legend or whatever. So I guess I just don't really meet people who have sightings. I think if maybe I met more people who were sort of who had that experience, maybe I'd think differently.
Definitely. I have one more question, but before we get into it, as always, links are listed below, so please give a like, a share, and a follow. Go to the Bandcamp page, go to anywhere you can to get info on the band. Buy merch, buy albums, support these dudes in any way you can, because that is really where it is at. If they're out playing shows, if you're going to be in Houston for Hell's Heroes, go buy merch from these guys, because that is how they're going to be able to get home.
That's right. Yeah. The album pre-orders are running right now. We have vinyl, we'll have CDs. I imagine we'll do a run of tapes pretty soon. We're gonna have an assload of new shirts and patches coming out. It's all really exciting stuff. And yeah, if any of you folks are in Houston for Hell's Heroes, please come and say hi. We'd love to meet you. We love hanging out with metalheads whenever we go to festivals and stuff like that. So please come hang out. We'd love to meet you.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Do you have any shout outs you want to give to anybody today?
Actually, shout out to Christian Larson from Hell's Heroes for inviting us on. He actually invited us to play in 2020, and of course we know what happened in 2020. And that motherfucker has been like putting so much work into that festival to make it as successful as it can be, despite having to cancel 2 years in a row. So that guy, and he stuck with it. Like, even when we lost our singer and we couldn't play in 2021, he still wanted to bring us out. So shouts out to Christian from Hell's Heroes for being a badass promoter and a great dude.
Absolutely. Another friend of the Metal Forge. So hell yeah.
Awesome.
I need to have him back on, actually.
Yeah, you should actually. I bet he's an interesting guy.
Oh, he is. He, total metal all the way, metal in his veins through and through.
I believe it.
So, final question of the day.
Okay.
What do you think happens after we die?
Okay. The way that I think of it, the way that I like to think of it is that there is sort of a grand return to like a universal subconscious, I guess. So we're all sort of in our own individual consciousness right now, and we go back into the infinite, which is basically rejoining the cosmos, essentially. So our minds become one with all the other. Basically, our minds become one with everything, like the stars and the earth around us, and the past, the present, and the future. I like to think of it as it's an infinity, which is really which is beyond like human comprehension. So I think people interpret that as nothingness. I like to interpret that as infinity. Makes me feel a little bit better about stuff. And that's I think it's I don't think it's dissimilar from like what like Buddhists teach. So I kind of go in that line.
Definitely.
I tried.
And I think I'm the same way with that. I think it's a collective conscience of one with the universe and everything. I think it's along the lines of, I believe it was Einstein who said about, using 10% of the energy in your brain versus 100%. If we were ever to be able to use 100%, we would be complete energy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's an interesting way to put it. Einstein is way smarter than me. I am not like a math physicist guy at all, but I like where he's going with that, though.
I'm not even a math metalhead. No.
You and me both, brother.
Awesome. Jeff, thank you so much for coming on to the show this week. This has been super fucking rad. I've had a blast, man.
Likewise, dude.
Hell
Appreciate you for having me on, and just hope you guys have many more awesome shows coming up.
Absolutely, and thank you. So maybe can we get a song from the new album to play out today?
I'm sure we could. We just, as we're talking today, we just released a brand new single from the album called Twisted Towers. I think that would be a fun one to close on.
Awesome. You heard him. This is from the new album from Gatekeeper. This is Twisted Towers.
Hell yes.
Behold, absolute power, reigning
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Sit back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code MetalForge10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now. Hey Metalheads, it's with great pleasure I get to tell you guys about a new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Ageless Art, New Albany. After 20 years of owning and operating Ageless Art in Clarksville, Indiana, Phil Garrett had a vision for a new type of tattoo studio. Something that is clean and modern, sleek, refined, inviting. And he's done just that with Ageless Art in New Albany. You can find it at 2736 Charlestown Road, New Albany, Indiana, 47150. Business hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are 12 to 6. All sessions are appointment only, so give them a call and go get you some new ink. Or if it's your first time, go get your first one, baby. Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soulgrinder Zine, an independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now. Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code MetalForge10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.